Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 15 favourite movies from the year 1986. Yeah, just again, similar to 85, this list was hard to narrow down. There were just so many great films, but I think out of the ones I've picked, I think most people will agree with me with these movies that they deserve to be on this list, just not necessarily the order, because I think one movie in particular is probably going to upset a lot of people that it's not number one. But yeah, like I always say, this is just my list. It's my preferred list, my personal favourite movies from 86. And like always, these are all in accordance again with the release dates from IMDb. I'm going to leave a list of all my honourable mentions down below in the description. And yeah, like I said, just my personal favourite movies from 86. Your list is going to be different, and so it should be. So yeah, that being said, I'm going to kick it off straight away with number 15. So coming in 15th place, we have Ruthless People, starring Danny DeVito and Bette Midler. Judge Reinhold and also Helen Slater in this movie as well. This is just a fantastic, funny comedy about blackmail, betrayal, attempted murder. It's just brilliant, and the cast really sell this movie. Danny DeVito is great as this character who just can't stand his wife. And yeah, you have these two kidnappers played by Judge Reinhold and Helen Slater, and everything just gets caught up and escalates to this absolute hysterical episode. It's just such a fun movie, and I just have an absolute blast with this one. So yeah, that is my number 15 pick, Ruthless People. So coming up next at number 14, we have David Lynch's Blue Velvet. Great cast in this movie. You've got Cal MacLachlan, Laura Dern, Isabella Rossellini, and the absolutely unhinged Dennis Hopper as Frank Booth in this film. He, for me, is just the star of the show. He is terrifying, like I said, unhinged, unpredictable, and yet kind of funny as well all at the same time. It's just probably, in my opinion, this movie is probably David Lynch's second most accessible movie after The Elephant Man. That's just my opinion, but it's the one I find myself coming back to the most, and I just pick up on so many new things on rewatch with this film. And yeah, it's great, it's creepy, it's weird, it's all of those things, and that's probably what I love about it. So yeah, that is my number 14 pick, Blue Velvet. So coming up next at number 13, we have the movie that actually won Best Picture from 86, and that is Oliver Stone's Platoon. Yeah, just a fantastic Vietnam War movie. The soundtrack and the score to this are just absolutely iconic. So great, so haunting, and the cast is just absolutely wonderful. Charlie Sheen, Willem Dafoe, Johnny Depp, Tony Todd, so many names in this movie. It's utterly insane. Tom Berenger. It's an absolutely stacked cast, and that is like Oliver Stone's bread and butter, in my opinion. He knows how to direct an absolutely insanely ensemble cast, and Platoon is just great. It really throws you into the mix, and you really feel as if you're thrown into this war zone. And the movie looks phenomenal, it sounds phenomenal, so well acted, great war film, and yeah, just some absolutely iconic scenes. One particular with William Dafoe, yeah, that the front covers pretty much capulates here. It's just, yeah, it's just such a wonderful movie. So yeah, that is my number 13 pick, Platoon. So coming up next at number 12, we have Highlander, starring Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery, and Clancy Brown as well. Yeah, this is a movie I didn't like the first time I watched it. You're going to hear that with a lot of movies when I do these lists, but one that really grew on me. And yeah, I just love the concept of this movie about these immortals who go through time, go through so many historical periods, and there can be only one. There can only be one survivor at the end of the day. And what I love about this movie is the setup. Christopher Lambert's character is... we see him go through some absolutely horrible stuff, particularly at the beginning. when he's actually in the Highlands. His whole family and friends turn on him because they discover his secret, that he is immortal, and they just think it's completely out of place, and they just completely turn on him, and it's such a heartbreaking opening. And you then see him go forward, he meets someone else, he outlives them. It's just absolutely heartbreaking what he goes through, but him and Sean Connery have an amazing chemistry in this movie. It's got a great soundtrack by Queen, and yeah, it's just an all-round fantastic 80s movie. So yeah, I just think this one's great. So yeah, that is my number 12 pick, Highlander. So coming up next at number 11, we have Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Yeah, the one with the whales, as everyone calls this one. Yeah, this was just a great return to form. I think Star Trek 3 wasn't the best received of the Star Trek movies at the time, and 4 really brought new life to the series of movies. And yeah, it takes the the risk of setting it in modern day at the time, throws all the characters in that we know and love into San Francisco, and yeah, they just it injects this storyline, this plot line with these whales, and it's a fun movie. It's just got a lot of charm to it. I love the sequence on the bus as well. That's just absolutely hilarious, and it leads to this classic fish out of water type of scenario when we see the crew of the Enterprise in modern day, at the time, 1986 San Francisco, and it's just a fun movie. Really enjoy it. It's one of the better Star Trek movies, and yeah, I just have a blast with this film. So yeah, that is my number 11 pick, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. So cracking into the top 10 now, and coming in at 10th place, we have Fred Decker's Night of the Creeps. Not much negative to say about this film. I absolutely love it. It is just a great high school / college zombie movie set in the 80s, and I absolutely love it, with Tom Atkins thrown in. His favourite movie that he made as well. And yeah, it's just utterly great. It has this sort of sci-fi element to it at the beginning, pretty much with how the kids in this movie turn into zombies. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it's a fun, unique concept on it, and it's just great. These pretty much these high school jocks get turned into zombies, and it is just this fight for survival at the end. And I just love it. I love the setting of this. I love the characters. I love the music. Tom Atkins is just firing at all pistons, as he normally is when he's in these types of movies. And yeah, it is just a ball of a time. So yeah, that is my number 10 pick, Night of the Creeps. So coming up next at number 9, we have Woody Allen's Hannah and Her Sisters. This is probably my favourite Woody Allen movie. I just absolutely love it. It is just a crisscross in storytelling about people's relationships, new ones sprouting, old ones falling apart. And I just absolutely love that about Woody Allen's movies. I think he's such a great writer when it comes to movies like this. He just writes characters really well, and this movie just has an absolutely stacked cast as well. Too many names to mention. Obviously Diane Wiest, Michael Caine, Max von Sydow, Daniel Stern. It's just a wonderful film, and I just have such a blast with it. I don't know what it is about it. I just love it. I love the New York setting of his movies as well, but this one for me is my personal favourite out of Woody Allen's filmography, and yeah, it's one of those I can't put my finger on. I just love it. So yeah, that is my number 9 pick, Hannah and Her Sisters. So coming up next at number 8, we have Michael Mann's Manhunter. Yeah, pretty much the first movie based on the Hannibal Lecter property, and yeah, this movie is great. I think what I like about it the most is the 80s aesthetics to the movie. It is just looks like it's been pulled straight out of the decade when you watch this film. It's just a joy and a treat for the eyes. Brian Cox is great and menacing as Hannibal Lecter. I know that role kind of in today's day and age belongs to Anthony Hopkins, but Brian Cox's performance is nothing to be forgotten. He's phenomenal in this movie. And yeah, it's just a great story about a detective trying to catch a killer, and he has to use another psychopath's help to try and capture him. And yeah, it's just a great film. I absolutely love it. It's super underrated, well acted, and yeah, just an all-round home run of a movie. One of my favourite Michael Mann movies. So yeah, that is my number 8 pick, Manhunter. So coming up next at number 7, we have Lucas. This is such a fun, underrated little movie that hardly anyone talks about, and it's got such a great up-and-coming cast to it as well. Kerry Green, Charlie Sheen, Winona Ryder, and Corey Haim pretty much helm this movie. And yeah, it's just a great coming-of-age movie. Little kid, Lucas, falls in love with Kerry Green's character, but she likes Charlie Sheen's character, and he has to sort of... It's all about growing up and coming to terms with who you are and finding your place. That's what the movie's all about, and it just absolutely oozes so much heart and so much charm, and I just love it. I love the ending to this movie, because this is another movie where the ending kind of has some balls about it. It doesn't go down the route you think it's going to go, and by the time the movie ended, I was left very satisfied with the decisions it made as to, you know, who couples up with who and who ends up on their own. It was just satisfying to me, and it was just a joy and a bit refreshing to see a movie do that. And yeah, I just love this movie. It's just such a great little film, and it deserves your time if you've not seen it. So yeah, that is my next pick, Lucas. So coming up next at number 6, we have John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, starring Kurt Russell. I can't really surmise the plot of this movie. Don't really think anyone can, to be honest. It's just buckets loads of insanity. This movie, it is just balls to the walls, creative, fun, imaginative, insane. Like, you know, all these words describe this movie. It is just what a joy. Just what a fun time. Jack Burton, Kurt Russell, such an iconic character, but kind of one of those characters who the right-hand man helps save the day all the time. In this movie, Jack Burton's kind of like the klutz. But yeah, it's just such a fun movie. I can't explain it. It's relentless. The pacing of this movie just comes at you a million miles an hour. It doesn't stop. It doesn't give you time to breathe. It's just an absolute roller coaster of a movie. Yeah, it's just batshit insane, and I absolutely love it for doing that. So yeah, that is my next pick, Big Trouble in Little China. So coming up next at number 5, we have John Hughes's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. An 80s classic. I'm surprised to find that some people don't actually like this movie as much as myself, but I didn't really like it the first time I watched it, but it grew on me, and discovering what the movie was about, you know, Ferris's relationship, his friends, and just getting one over the school system. And yeah, it just leads to an absolutely fun time. Again, so many different sequences in this movie. They're all entertaining. We never stay in the same place long enough to outstay our welcome. It's just such a fun movie. The soundtrack and the score are great in this film as well. We didn't get many movies directed by John Hughes. We only got 8. This is one of his best. And yeah, I just have an all-around fun time with this film. So yeah, that is my number 5 pick, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So coming up next at number 4, this is the movie I was worried about. It didn't make my top spot, but I will try and justify my reasons for that. So coming in at number 4, we have James Cameron's Aliens. This is a fantastic movie. It's one of the best movies ever. It's one of the best sequels ever. One of the best movies with a female lead in the action role. It's phenomenal. It is. It's such a great movie. But the reason why it falls short at number 4 for me is because I did not love this movie the first time I saw it. I did not like this movie the first time I saw it. I thought it was boring as fuck the first time I watched this movie, and it wasn't until later in life that I went back and rewatched the first 2 Alien movies, and I saw them in a completely different light. I thought they were well written, wonderfully executed, and just all around great movies added to cinema. Phenomenal movies. That's how I think of these movies now. But for me, the nostalgia was just never there. Never there with this film. And that's my issue. That's not the movie's fault. It's a great film. I really, really enjoy it. But there's 3 movies on this list that I loved instantly from first viewing. I don't need to explain how good this movie is. Anyone who's seen it knows how great the film is. But for me, there were just 3 movies from 1986 that I just hold a hell of a lot more dear to my heart. So, yeah, that is my number 4 pick, Aliens. So coming up at number 3, taking the bronze medal from 86, we have Rutger Hauer in The Hitcher. Yeah, wow. I remember watching this film for the first time. It was one of those movies I discovered on Channel 5 here in the UK, when they played these great 80s movies, you know, Halloween 3, Elm Street 3, The Hitcher, Fright Night. I owe a lot to Channel 5 for discovering movies like this, and I fell in love with this movie from the first time I watched it. Like most movies, the score in this is absolutely phenomenal. Rutger Hauer absolutely kills it as this relentless force who is just obsessed with ruining this guy's life. And yeah, it's horrific what this poor chap has to go through. But the look of this movie, man, oh my god, the movie is just absolutely stunning. It's due for a 4K and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. The movie just looks incredible. I can't really knock this film. It's just one of the best from the 80s and I absolutely love it. So that is my number 3 pick, The Hitcher. So taking the bronze medal for me from 1986, coming in at 2nd place, we have David Cronenberg's The Fly. Yeah, another movie I instantly fell in love with the first time I saw it. This was just a fantastic movie. The special effects in this movie still hold up to this day. They're horrifically gross, unapologetically over the top, and I absolutely love it. Jeff Goldblum kills it in this movie as Seth Brundle. So does Gina Davis, and this movie for me just captures the fear of pretty much accepting that you're decaying into something unknown, and it just, yeah, it's terrifying. Yeah, just really, really awesome to see the concept of this movie. Pretty much, you know, teleportation, it goes wrong, and just the side effects of it, man, are just so stomach churning, and it just makes for just a wonderful horror movie. It just showcases what David Cronenberg does best, and it's just a home run of a movie. I absolutely love it. Again, soundtrack and score absolutely phenomenal. Goldblum kills it, and it's my favourite David Cronenberg film, and it's my 2nd favourite movie from 1986. So yeah, just absolutely phenomenal film. So yeah, that is my number 2 pick, The Fly. So coming in at number 1, taking the gold medal, we have Rob Reiner's Stand By Me. Obviously famously based on the Stephen King short story. Yeah, I don't know, I can't really bring anything or say anything else to how good this film is. This for me is kind of like a brilliant drama movie that is a comfort movie for me. Simple concept about these four friends set in a movie set in the 50s, and just going to look for this dead body that they've heard that this child has tragically passed away, and they want to discover his body and try and get the fame for it. There's some older lads as well who have the same plan in mind, and yeah, it's one of the best movies to have a character arc as well. The four lads in this film are completely different from the beginning to the end. Yeah, it's just a great movie, like I said, set in the 50s. It's set in this time period, and yet the movie is so timeless. It will never really age for me. It's just absolutely wonderful. You've got great narration from Richard Dreyfuss as well, and the movie just looks gorgeous. Yeah, it's so bright, it's so colourful, it's so vibrant. There's just something about movies with trees in them. It sounds daft, it sounds stupid. I don't know why, but any movie where it can shoot trees beautifully, you know, it's definitely winning me over. I don't know what it is about that. I just love to see it in movies. It just looks gorgeous, just the vibrancy and the colour. This movie just does it for me. I just absolutely love it. It's fantastic. It's so well acted. Showcases the late River Phoenix's talent as well. What an actor he was. And yeah, just an all-round phenomenal film. My favourite from 1986. So yeah, that is my number one pick. Stand By Me. So yeah, those are all of my top 15 favourite movies from the year 1986. Gonna leave the video there, guys, and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.